Hey everyone, Dr. Gary here. So this video is on Machine Gun Kelly's hair transplant surgeries. He is an awesome musician, and what I have read is that he's a great dad as well. So that is awesome, because I'm also a dad to a beautiful little girl. And in this video, we will be doing the letters game. This is something new that we're introducing. We wanted to thank you guys for your support, and we know that people like games and they like prizes, so we're giving away $50 to a random subscriber for each new video that features this letters game. Something new that we're trying. There will be random points throughout the video where you'll see these letters, 4 different letters throughout the video. They'll appear, and you have to put those 4 letters together as a code that they form, just 4 letters, and you DM me that code on Instagram at Dr. Gary NYC. That's Dr. Gary, my name, NYC, and we'll announce the selected winner in the next video that features this letter game. It's not in every one of our videos, but in some of these more reaction and fun videos, educational ones, you'll see it. So good luck, and thanks again for all the support. So make sure you watch till the end of this video, because I'll cover the summary of the hair transplants that Machine Gun Kelly has had, as well as the cost that was likely involved. I know everyone wants to know how much does it cost. 2012, what I'm seeing here are signs of male pattern hair loss. There is more specifically frontotemporal recession that's fairly deep, and he has a preserved frontal forelock that has fairly good density to it. Then in 2013, what we're seeing here is that there's great donor density. So for someone who wants a transplant, he's a good candidate because of that nice thick hair that he has in the back. And I really dig his awesome Salvador Dali tattoo on his back under his initials. That's really cool. I'm a big fan of Salvador Dali. I've been to his house in Spain, actually. It's a pretty wild place. What I'm seeing in this photo from September 24th, 2013, he's got a well-healed FUT scar. So it's along the back of his head, and this is again September 2013. So I think that he likely got his first hair transplant in the summer of 2013. That's my guess for Machine Gun Kelly's first hair transplant, because then in January of 2014 we see him here with a bandana on, so maybe he's covering up, the recipient area. It's possible. And in July 2014 you can see the obvious results of the first hair transplant. You can see that there is some scant density at the frontal hairline. Definitely, obviously a huge improvement, but a bit scant, especially on the right hand side, right lateral. And the hairline looks to me to be a little too regular. It's as if you just drew a line and put grafts along it. That's how it's looking to me at this stage. Of course, we know that it's been improved on with additional treatments, but at this stage, this is what it kind of appears to me. How many grafts did he have done in this first hair transplant? Based on the length of the FUT scar, my guess is about 3,000. So the way we calculate that is we figure that in an area of high density, as far as the donor area goes, you can usually get about 100 grafts per square centimeter. If you take that and you extrapolate it out to the length of the FUT scar, which to me looks like about 30 centimeters long, that's how you get that number of about 3,000 grafts. So that is, again, an educated guess. Now make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified when we put out new material, which is now fairly often, and we really appreciate that support. So then I think the second hair transplant came in about mid-2014, and it looks to me like he had an FUE procedure at this point of about 2,000 grafts. And this is based on some of the dot scars that I think I see on images taken in 2015. So then from that procedure, it looks like he had increased density at the frontal scalp. There's slightly more irregularity that's been built into the hairline design, and you can really see like a much more impressive hairline. At that point, the whole frontal scalp has been improved upon. September 19th, 2015 is where I'm seeing some signs of these FUE scars in addition to his FUT scar from earlier. And then in 2016, you can again see just the great improvement that he's had now with the FUT procedure, and on top of that, the FUE. Okay, so those two combined into a very nice outcome. And I don't believe that he's had further work, it seems to me like that's where it pretty much stopped, but he had a very nice result. I'm looking through 2017. The hairline's looking very natural. In this image from December of 2018, if you look closely, you can tell that there's a different in density from the sides and further back on his head of the hair compared to the frontal scalp. You can just see that there's a difference in the areas where he was transplanted. However, when he grows out his hair, it still looks excellent. So I think he's likely on medical therapy to maintain his pre-existing hairs, maybe a combination of minoxidil and finasteride, for example, to again maintain those hairs that were not transplanted. And then in June of 2019, he had his hair pretty short, and there is this shaved rectangle that I think is supposed to be a tattoo to symbolize one of his albums. And this is where you can interestingly see the FUT scar running smack right through that rectangular area, and you can see FUE scars in that rectangle as well if you look closely. At this point, if a patient came to me, maybe without that tattoo and shaved area, but just in terms of the scars, and said, you know, how do I improve on these scars? I would say we can do a procedure of about 600 grafts of FUE grafts into the FUT scar. That would then help mask some of the appearance of that FUT scar, be less visible, especially in that midsection where it appears to be a wider scar. And then you can consider doing scalp micropigmentation into the FUE scars that they're scattered throughout the donor area. But overall, you know, looking at his images from 2019, 2020, and now, I mean, he had overall great work. And let's just summarize what he's had done. So I think he had 2 hair transplants. The first in 2013, FUT procedure, about 3,000 grafts to the frontotemporal scalp. That's, you know, this area here where he was really recessed. And I think the approximate cost there was about $10,000 to $15,000. The second transplant was likely in 2014, basically once he saw the final results of the first hair transplant and said, look, I want it to be improved even further. At that point, I think he had an FUE procedure of about 2,000 grafts to the frontal scalp to fill in the area, to increase the density, to increase the irregularity, which then leads to a more natural appearance. And that procedure probably ran him anywhere from another $12,000 to $15,000. The total cost about $22,000 to $30,000 for MGK's hair transplants. Hopefully you enjoyed that video, and if you enjoyed this hair transplant video on MGK, please check out my video on Elon Musk's hair transplant journey. Click the card and I will see you there. Thanks.